406.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 411 from 406. My name is Chewie, and I'm joined once again by my brother from another mother, Mr. Pip. How are you, sir?
I'm back, and I'm happy to be podcasting. It's been way too long. I mean, that's our standard intro, right? But
Yes.
We have both canceled on each other a couple times, trying to get together and talk about some of the really crazy, amazing current events that are happening in our world right now. And I'm just glad we were finally able to pin down a night, our famous Thursday night recording sessions to talk through some of this stuff. But how have you been? I feel like even off the podcast, I feel like we haven't been in touch as much as we're used to communicating. So what's been going on in your world?
Yeah, it has been I'm looking here. I think the last time we recorded was like in December. When I posted the episode to the site, it was December 15th. So it would have been like before that we actually recorded it. So let's see. So we kind of went through Christmas, we went through New Year. How have I been? I've been good. I've been busy. I was actually sick through Christmas. I missed
That's right.
I missed most of Christmas. So I had a cyst removed from my back, and it was totally benign, no big deal. I ended up getting like 11 or 12 stitches, and it was fine for like 2 weeks. And then I go to get the stitches out, and it's totally infected, like the most painful thing ever. And so, you can imagine what that feels like when you get stitches taken out of an infected wound and what have you. And to make a really, really long story short, I think my immune system went foobar and fighting that infection, and I got like every sickness under I got like a cold and a cough and probably bronchitis and probably pneumonia and probably COVID, and it was just, I mean, I was sicker than I've been in a long, long time. And the sickest that I was on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And so I felt bad, like Amanda had to do all of the the last minute wrapping, and I didn't go to church on Christmas Eve, and I went over, I and I went, I went
Sorry,
to,
honey, you had to do all the last minute
right,
wrapping after you
right,
probably bought most of the presents
right,
anyways.
most all, yeah.
That's how it happens.
I felt bad. I went to my in-laws for 10 minutes just to say hi. Didn't even eat dinner. And then, on Christmas Day, I went over to Mark's house, same kind of thing. I was there for 15 minutes and I left. And then for New Year's, we actually we were in Mexico for New Year's.
That's right. That's awesome.
It was amazing trip. My in-laws are, I mean, hey Dad, how are you doing? Hope things are well.
Larry.
Good old Larry. So they took us on this trip that was amazing. And but again, I was still kind of at 70%. Like I even like one of the days I kind of lost the day. We went on this fucking amazing yacht, like a 40-foot yacht all afternoon.
Wow.
And that day I just kind of lost. Like I was out there, but I was literally below deck sleeping, kind of sick, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but again, there are worse places in the world to kind of get better, to feel better, right? So that was, and then I rolled right off of that into I had a big business trip at the late January that kind of consumes a couple weeks before, a couple months before, and then certainly the week after. So I'm just now kind of getting back into what I would call normal, right? And we're sitting here on February 5th. And then obviously we kind of had some other kind of pop culture things that we can get into later. That took a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But how about you? Since I think you're right. Like other than a couple texts here and there, we really haven't chatted, which is kind of a bummer. So
Yeah, I mean, I certainly haven't I can't say that I had as an eventful, month or so as you did. We talked on Christmas Day, actually. I called before I knew anything about, some of the health challenges you were going through, and you were ass out on the couch, and I think,
Oh, that's right. We were FaceTiming, right?
I
That's
had
right.
FaceTimed you, which is something I don't usually do, and I don't think I've hardly ever done with you. But it was Christmas, and I wanted to touch base and see how you were doing. And you looked like you got hit by a fucking train, and were laying on the couch, and you're like, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" And I just thought, "Oh my God." And then you kind of walked through all the the medical
Yeah.
procedure and some of the challenges. I'm like, gosh, that's horrible. Um, but yeah, so I ended up working most of the end of the year. I know you had a couple weeks off. I was in the office pretty much. Well, I shouldn't say I was in the office. I was working pretty much the entire time. It's not that I didn't have any time off. I just really I kind of waited to the end of the year, and then everybody else started taking their time off. And at my job, it's really important to have somebody on shift and working, since we're 24/7 around the clock. So I knew it wasn't going to be super busy, so I just figured whatever. I'll just jump on. I'll make sure people are getting taken care of, and it was fine. But it really, because of that, there were no vacations. There was not really any traveling. Christmas was great. New Year's was New Year's. It was very uneventful. It was fun, but it was, there wasn't much to it. And then yeah, I mean, not much since. My oldest had a birthday just a week ago, and so we took her to Great Wolf Lodge this past weekend, which is
Nice.
um I don't know if this is politically correct to say, but I feel like it's kind of Disney for poor people in the Midwest.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And I feel even more poor after having gone to Great Wolf Lodge, because the place is fucking ridiculous how expensive it is. We got a shitty hotel room on a Sunday night that we split with another family, and it was $400. And I'm just like,
Holy
what?
shit.
$400
Wow.
for a Sunday night, not a holiday night, nothing special about it. It was $400. And I was beside
Wow.
myself. I'm like, well, sweetheart, this is your last birthday you're going to be spending
And
here.
that was
And
that at Great Wolf, or was that not
yeah,
even there? That
that
was
was
at Great
at
Wolf. Yeah.
Great Wolf, and that
Wow.
that that only includes the subpar room that we got to sleep in. I mean, it was a tiny, um, tiny room with had like two bedrooms in it, and like this really, it was sort of awkward the way that it was designed. And so there was like a living area, but it was very small, and there were four adults and four kids. So we are
Wow.
Lauren's friends from high school went, and they have kids about the same age as ours. So we hang out all the time, and they're awesome. But it was pretty underwhelming in terms of accommodations. And then you take the cost and throw it on there, and the value is just shot to hell. And then, of course, you got to get access to the water park if you want to play arcade games, if you want to go and get some candy. Like, it was an expensive night. It was a night, and it was more expensive, more money than I've spent on a weekend trip out of town. Like, it was
Wow.
it, it was really crazy. And so I'm glad we did it, because Cece had a great birthday and it was super fun. But yeah, not only did that talk me out of going back there, but it probably talked me out of ever going to Disney because I just don't.
Yeah.
I think Disney's different, though. I think I understand that they do a much better job catering to the people, right? Like, the accommodations are nice, and the food is supposed to be good. And I mean, you've been there, right? So you've
Hmm.
probably had a more of a frame of reference than I do. But considering the cost, and the girls are getting older at this point, and I don't know if they care, or if they get as much out of it as they might have. So I don't know if that'll ever happen. But we did this. This was sort of a miniature version of that, and it was fun. It was fine. But that's you know that's a recap of the last couple months in terms of the things that we've done. But man, we've got a lot of shit to catch up on. We've got some stuff to talk about. And I think number one, probably on both of our lists, is the 2026 college football champion Indiana Hoosiers. The thing that I never thought anybody, let alone you or I, would ever say out loud in this universe. That's I'm thinking about getting my testicles laminated level of things you just never think that you're going to hear out loud. Uh,
Yes.
Praise be to George Carlin. Yeah, so I mean, I don't remember when we talked last, was it immediately following the Big Ten championship? And by talked, I mean podcasted. Is
Oh,
that
yes, it was immediately after that. Yeah, so that episode of the podcast, let's see. Yes, the Hoosiers are the Big Ten champs.
okay?
Sitting at number one, and that was right after. I think was that after Notre Dame maybe decided not to play a bowl game. It was probably right
Yes,
around
because
that
we did
time.
talk
Yeah.
about that, and I know I chatted about the optics on all of that, and yeah, so it was before the playoffs started, I think, but
Yep. It was
after the Big
Big
Ten
Ten.
championship. So
Yes.
that whole series of games was an incredible ride to be on because they played and beat Alabama and then Oregon, and then of course for the national championship they beat Miami, and it was such a out of body surreal experience for me personally. I'm sure for you, and I want to hear your thoughts on it too. But for me, we got to beat the shit out of well, not to beat the shit, but we got to beat in the last four games probably three of my most hated teams in college football. I hate Ohio State. I hate Alabama, and I hate Miami. Like I can't stand any of those teams. Now, I hate Ohio State and Alabama for largely the same reasons, and that it's just because they're really fucking good all the time, and they've been
Hmm.
whooping our ass. Well, Alabama, we never play Alabama, but Ohio State's been whooping Indiana's ass
Yeah,
for the
for a long
last
time. Yeah.
40 years, practically speaking. So, of course, I hated them. Alabama, I hated not because they beat us, but that they just beat everybody, and they were this. I'm not a big fan of any SEC schools specifically, just because they think their shit doesn't stink, and they're just a little big for their britches, in my opinion, especially now. Oregon, I'm totally fine with. We don't have much of a history with Oregon, and hey, we beat them the last two times we played them, so I can't be too mad at them. And then finishing off against Miami, me being a Notre Dame fan as well, I had a sweatshirt made that said, I kind of regret what it says because I should have given it just another 5 minutes of thought, but it says Hoosiers versus convicts. And for anybody who remembers the late 80s and the sort of zeitgeist of college football at that time, it was Catholics versus convicts when Notre Dame and Miami had their big rivalry back when Notre Dame won their national championship and Miami won a national championship. And there was a lot going on back then. And there's even a really fascinating documentary on that T-shirt that was made and bootlegged throughout the late 80s and early 90s. And that's one of the ESPN 30 for 30 episodes. If nobody's seen that, I highly recommend you checking that out. But I have a shirt that says Hoosiers versus convicts. I say that I regret it because I waited. If I'd have waited 5 minutes, I'd have thought, well, Hicks versus convicts probably works a lot better. But I could see that people wouldn't. Some people may see that and not understand that. So Hoosiers versus convicts is right on the money. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't when we talked last on the podcast and they had just beaten Ohio State for the Big Ten championship. Obviously, we were both on a severe high from that, but I still don't think either one of us really thought confidently that IU was going to not only make it to the finals, but win that game. And I can't explain how exciting it was to see them against Alabama. I'm like, I don't know, Alabama is such a franchise. Like they're not gonna, they're not gonna come if they get out of this, it'll be total luck. And they fucking embarrassed them. They
Yep.
absolutely smeared Alabama. And then there's Oregon, and you're like, oh shit. But it's like you never beat the same team twice in a single season. Like, how are you gonna do that? They whooped the shit out of Oregon, and then they got to the national championship game, and it wasn't even until we got there to Miami, which is where the game was, where I actually sat and thought, what if the Indiana University football team is the national champions? Like I never even let it creep into my mind until we got to the last game, and then watching this game, and I think I was texting you and your son back and forth, through that game, through all the games that preceded that, and it was just the most magical, amazing thing. And the thing that I appreciated about it, the thing I appreciate about it the most, and I'll let you talk because I'm rambling, is that I feel like the entire country was on the same ride that we were on. I mean, you and I, we went there, so we have a little bit of a special connection, but everybody outside of a 2 mile radius of Miami was rooting for Indiana to win this game. And everybody thinks, a lot of sports journalists, the ones that I shit on for the last, month, 2 months, are all saying that it's one of the greatest stories in collegiate sports, if not sports, period. To see this team go from being one of the historical worst to the absolute best. And it's just so fucking cool that it's our team. I would have enjoyed this for anybody. I really honestly think. But the fact that it was Indiana University and the football team, I just still can't believe it.
Yeah, I can't. I literally am getting goosebumps as we're talking about this. To, to and you mentioned it, just to go through the last four games: Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, and Miami. And at the time, they were like, number, I don't know, Ohio State was number one, Alabama was like 9 or 10,
Mm-hmm.
Oregon was 5, and I think Miami was 10. Um, and to your point, like, I mean, with the exception of Miami, they won those games pretty handily. I mean, especially Alabama, especially Oregon, right? Um, and you're right. The last time we were on the podcast, we were at that point, we were the Big Ten champs. We were the number one team in the country for the first time ever. Mendoza had not won the Heisman at that point. So that's
Right,
another kind
right.
of thing, right? So Mendoza wins the Heisman. Um, and I was like you. Um, I won't even call it cautiously optimistic that we would go deep in the
No
playoffs, right?
way.
Right.
No way.
I was like, oh, I was kind of already like, okay, like when we lose, it's still going to be a good season. It's still
Yes.
going to be amazing. Like I was already kind of telling myself, yeah, you know what, that regardless of how it ends, it's going to be amazing. Right. And I was worried every single game. Every
Oh,
single
yeah.
game all the way through. I thought we would lose to Alabama. I thought we would lose to Oregon. Um and I mean, God, that Oregon game, right? It's like that was the one where it was the first play from scrimmage. It's a pick six, right? And just kind of starts off. And Miami really scared me. I know that we were a big favorite heading into that game, but Miami scared me. And like that's kind of at the end of the day, that was by far the closest. Well, I guess maybe with the exception of Penn State, um, that was the closest game really we had, certainly in the playoff and probably all year. Um, and I just absolutely hate Carson Beck with a fucking passion. And I know
Same.
that's not fair. I don't know him, whatever. But like,
It's
I
totally
just,
fair. Do you see how
yeah.
punchable his face
Oh,
looks?
he's very, and so I'm as I'm watching that game, I'm having visions of watching him do what he did to Ole Miss, going down, taking that, and again, they had the ball with their offense in the last at the
Yeah.
and to win the game, and I'm just like, fuck, like that's what's gonna happen. Like we're gonna get that close, and we're gonna lose
Yes.
at the end to
Yes.
fucking Carson Beck, and I'm gonna
Absolutely.
hate, yeah, and it's funny that I would be interested to hear your thoughts. I did not enjoy watching that game. During the game, I did not enjoy, like it was not what I would consider an enjoyable, like fun experience. My heart was going 150 beats a minute the whole game. I was nervous. I was, now obviously like towards the end, but again, I mean, I wasn't comfortable until we made that pick, and that's with like 10 seconds left in the game, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
so
That
um
that's funny. So just to show you kind of how twisted my mind is when it works to that stuff, like so Miami gets the ball back for that last drive, right? And I'm looking at the score and I'm like, the score is 27-21. I'm like, that's not a good football score. 28-27 is a much better football score.
Hmm.
So Miami's clearly going to drive the length of the field and upset the Hoosiers and turn this whole season up on its head. And
Yeah.
they'll still look great and they'll still get a lot of accomplishments and accolades, but like at the end of the day, all the people are going to come out of the woodwork and say, "See, I told you the Indiana Hoosiers couldn't do it." And so I was convinced. I'm like watching between my fingers. I can't take it. Like that last drive was the worst. And then he threw that last pass and it I don't know, something about it. I'm like, this feels weird. Like it doesn't feel like a touchdown. It feels like something else. And then they picked it off. Um, so I forget. Oh, so your commentary specifically on just how nerve-wracking that game was. Yeah, that was not enjoyable in the sense that I think my biggest problem with that game is that's the one. I don't think it, regardless of what Vegas said, regardless of what the odds said, I think most people expected us to lose the Rose Bowl. Most people expected us to lose the Peach Bowl.
Hmm.
The national championship was the first game that most people expected
We were
us to
favored.
win.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no, like it's exactly where I don't want to be. I want to be the underdog. I want to be the one that nobody sees coming, even if we are the number one seeded team. I don't want everybody to be like, well, of course the Hoosiers are going to win. Like that, there's nothing about that that rolls off your tongue in this lifetime. So I was very terrified the whole time. And I was thinking to myself, Jesus, like I, I told myself that I would be okay if they lost at any point during the playoffs because they had had such a good season. I mean, think of all the firsts that they accomplished: the first Heisman Trophy winner, the first Big Ten championship in the CFP era, the first win over Ohio State in like 40 years or whatever the case may be. They had so many great things that they did. So I'm just waiting for the other shoe to fall, like the rest of the country and the rest of the IU fan base is, and it never did. And it was so amazing. And you want to know my favorite statistic that I've heard so far
Hmm.
about everything is that this season IU football beat six top 10 teams this year alone. So they beat um, obviously
Oregon twice.
they beat Oregon twice, they beat Ohio State, and then the other three teams were Alabama, Oregon, and Miami.
Yep.
In the history of Indiana football, you know how many wins they have over top 10 schools?
I think it was like 4 or 5, right?
Six, the same
Was it really?
amount. They equaled their all-time best number of wins over top 10 teams this year. They beat six top
Wow.
10 teams this year. They've only ever beaten six top 10 teams before this. And so I don't know why. I think that's the most interesting statistic. But man, what a time to be alive. I went out and I spent $100 on a limited edition poster that I have framed in my house now, which is beautiful. I don't know if I said it to you or not, but I got to show
No,
you
I didn't
a
see that.
picture of
Yeah.
it. It was all over my Facebook feed, and I'm not one of those guys that clicks on all the shit that gets marketed to me on my Facebook feed, but I'm like, no, that poster's cool. I'll take a limited edition, way too much for a small poster. I've got a pennant that I'm going to hang in my office. I've got some swag, and I'm just like, just send it all to me. Like, I don't care. I'm so excited. Literally once in a lifetime thing. I don't expect them to repeat or do it again. I mean, they could, but I don't expect it, and I honestly don't care. Like, what
Yeah.
a wonderful gift to have this. I feel like this might be the universe's way for making up for some of the other shit that's going on in the world right now. That shall remain nameless, but man, it was just so amazing.
Yeah.
What did Grayson think of it? Like I know you guys were watching together. Like I mean, he loves sports obviously, and I know he roots for IU because of your ties to it and everything. But I'm curious to know like what how he took it all and how that was for him.
Yeah, so he once Ohio State was out of the playoff. So again, this kind of back to our vacation, we got to watch we watched the Buckeyes actually lost to Miami
Yeah, two straight
on
losses.
on on New Year's Day. I'm sorry, New
Yeah,
Year's Eve. So we were down in Mexico watching that, and then we watched the Hoosiers. Was that Alabama
I think
on
that
New
was the
Year's Day?
Oregon
Or
game. No, on New Year's Day was what day was that? Or what game was that?
yeah,
I don't.
here, let me pull, I can pull it up.
I
It was,
I,
well,
I feel like that was the
no,
Oregon
no,
game.
that was Alabama. That was
Oh, it
Alabama
was.
because
Okay.
yeah, that was
That was
Alabama.
the Rose Bowl. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that
and
makes sense. The
yeah,
Rose Bowl would be
yeah.
on
New
that.
Year's
Yeah.
Day. Yeah.
New Year's Day, of course.
And so, yeah, so we got to, and again, so after Ohio State was out, he was all in for Indiana. So and I think it was really cool. Obviously Amanda watched it with us too, and I think Crew and Link were there too. But it was great. Grayson actually came home from college because he wanted to watch it with me. And so it was really cool to be able to kind of share that with him. I think
Yeah.
he recognized, I think he understood, kind of how special that was to me. And he was all in. So it was really, and here's the other thing too. Objectively, if you take out the fact that we are so close to the Hoosiers, that was an amazing football game. Like,
Yes.
if it was just two random teams, it was an amazing football game.
Yeah,
Um,
I totally agree, and that's what I love about the whole story altogether is that you don't have to be an IU football fan
right.
to appreciate this. And 2 years ago, there were no IU football fans, but the fact that the entire like sports watching nation kind of rallied around what was going on with Signetti
Yeah.
and the Hoosiers made it really, really special. But the fact that it was our alma mater that
Yeah.
it happened to made it even more incredible.
I think the other really kind of cool factoid that I keep coming back to is the last time there was an undefeated national champion in basketball was 50 years ago, and it was the Indiana Hoosiers in 1976.
The year we
And
were
now
born, by the
the
way.
year we were born, and now the year we turn 50 is when the next, or the first, what is it? I guess the first 16-0 undefeated team in
Yeah.
college football. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an
Um,
important distinction because
yeah.
many teams go undefeated in
Many
college
undefeated.
football.
Yes. Yeah.
But in the 16 team playoff, we're the first one, or I'm sorry, not 16 team playoff, or is it 16 teams? Whatever it is, 16 and 0. We went 16
Yeah.
and 0. They're the first team to ever win 16 games in a college football season.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you could have told me that 10 years ago and I'd have laughed
Yeah.
right in your face and said, go to hell, because
So,
there's
so,
no way.
so let me ask you this. So obviously last year we were very good, right? We only had two losses last year, and they were to the two
Ohio
teams that
State, Notre
ultimately,
Dame. Yeah,
that
that played
ultimately
for the
played for
title.
the title. Yeah. And ironically enough, that's the two teams that Ohio State lost to this year, was Indiana and Miami. Anyways, so when did you and you already mentioned, like, you never really thought that they would win the title or go undefeated, but when in this season did you start to think, hey, this is like this is a special team? Like, was it from the jump, or was it like, how far into the season was it where you were kind of like, okay, this is legit?
Yeah,
Because I know when it was for me. I'm
I
interested to see when it was for you.
I know when it was for me too. And while I think the Oregon game was a great game and a great statement victory for the school, I wasn't convinced at that point. It's when we beat Penn State. That's the one for
Okay.
me that really sent it over. Not because Penn State was the greatest team. Uh, they played incredibly well that day, but IU had never won a game in Happy Valley prior
Hmm.
to that. And despite the fact that they didn't play that great that game, Mendoza kept his composure the entire time and managed to, throw that touchdown pass at the end that we'll see highlights for the rest of our lives, literally, because it was so. I mean, an inch in any direction, anything could have
Yep.
gone horribly wrong, and we could have lost, and that would have been. I mean, I don't know if that honestly would have been the end of our season because I still think we could have made the Big Ten championship and we still could have
Hmm.
potentially won, but it would have really stunted our momentum in that process. So to answer your question, for me, it was It was that Penn State. And when we won that game, I'm like, okay, so now I've seen all facets. I've seen us handle a really good team, and I've seen us go against a team that's pretty mediocre, but we were on our heels. Like they had played really good. Penn State had played really good, and we overcame that. And we silenced all the noise in that last drive and still came through it. And that to me showed a level of tenacity and toughness that I don't think I'd ever seen from an IU football team before. And I'm like, now I feel like we're contenders. Now I'm not scared about Ohio State. I still don't know if we're going to beat Ohio State, but
Yeah.
I'm not scared of them anymore. It's not a foregone conclusion like it has been every year since I've been alive that Ohio State is going to eat us for breakfast.
Hmm.
So that was the one game I'm like, okay, all right, we deserve to be where we are. We deserve the hype that we're in. Let's keep the train going. But what about you? I'm
Yeah.
curious. Are you? I thought maybe you would say that because I know that Penn State game was. I know you're a Penn State fan, or you have some, some
Yeah,
ties.
I do. I do. You know what? It's funny. The Penn State game for me was uh, it was awesome to watch. And I will say, I didn't turn that game on until I think that last drive. So when I
Oh
turned that
wow.
game on, we were losing, and
Yeah.
I saw Mendoza kind of take them down the field. I I still felt like that game. It's going to sound wrong, but I still thought that game was a fluke. But what really the game that kind of woke me up, and I was just like, oh, this team might be legit, was actually much earlier in the season. It was against Illinois, where we
Yeah.
destroyed Illinois, and they were number 9 at the time, and
Yes.
we beat them like
Oh, were they 9?
63.
Oh
They
wow.
were 9. That was one of the 6. Yeah, so they were
Okay.
number 9, and we beat them like
Oh,
63 to 6 or 60. I mean, it was an ass whooping.
we beat the
And
shit
I
out of it.
and I think that was, didn't we beat like Indiana State the week before like 75 nothing or something ridiculous? It was like 2 weeks in a row where we scored 150 points.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. And it was that game where I was kind of like, oh, like maybe last year wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, because again, if you remember, the talk about last year's team was all about, oh yeah, they're good, they're beating bad teams, like they're not really as good as their rank, blah blah blah. And I think that was kind of that's what you were hearing early in this season. But when we beat Illinois the way we did, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from the Penn State game, but
Sure.
like even after Penn State, I was still worried about Ohio State, right? and
Yeah.
then and then and then kind of we went into the playoffs and kind of did what we did. So um yeah, God, what an amazing season. And I mean, we touched on Mendoza. I mean, that dude, like, I have a hard time believing there's anybody like that pure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It
just in
seems a
general.
little bit like bullshit.
It does, but he seems like a genuinely good dude. And you mentioned the play where I think, was it Cooper that caught the touchdown pass in the end zone against Penn
Uh,
State? Was
I
it
think
Cooper?
so. Yeah.
But you mentioned that play, and the play that we will see forever. If it wasn't like, I agree, we will see that play forever, but the one we're going to see forever and ever is the fourth down play in the national championship, fourth and whatever on the 7 or the 12, and he goes in and gets hit like 3 times and
Yeah.
scores a touchdown. That play, oh good God. I mean, it's like I'm getting goosebumps again just thinking about it. It's like the play call on that, if I remember correctly, Signetti had actually put the field goal team on the field and called them back off and changed
Yes.
his mind. And so
Talk
uh
about balls of steel.
oh, oh my God.
Because our run game had not been productive
No, not the way it
for the
had been all
most
season. No.
for the
Yeah.
most part in that game because Miami's defense was so good. And it was a 4th and 5, I think it was, and he calls a quarterback draw for Mendoza. And I'm like, this just shows you what I don't know about college football because the minute it happened, I'm like, oh no, that's terrible. I hate that call. I hate it.
Me too.
And then all of a sudden, like he pulls this, and all I can think of the whole time is John Elway. I think of John Elway in that first Super Bowl when he against the Packers, the first Super Bowl
Hmm.
that they won, I should say, against the Packers, where he makes that dive for the first down and he gets hit and he gets all spun around. Like that was kind of the same sort of thing. I don't remember if he actually scored on that play or if that was just for a first down, but like the Mendoza thing was huge, and that's
Unbelievable.
where
Yeah.
it's like, like when you're watching a football game and then you're like, and it's not going and everything's not going the way you want it, and you're like, this is like that time I played Madden and like the game's just cheating, right? The game's cheating against me because it's trying to beat me. It felt like whatever the opposite of that is, like, oh no,
Yeah.
the game's trying to get me to win. Like every time I think we're sunk, some fucking miraculous play comes out of somebody's ass and it's just like, oh my God, this is amazing. But it also never felt like particularly miraculous. It felt very uh, pragmatic and coordinated
Hmm.
and thoughtful. Like none of that was an accident. Like it was a close game and it was a good game. And I think that we got, some lucky calls, I guess. There's a lot of shitty calls in the first half,
Oh
especially
my God.
no calls against Mendoza
Yeah.
as he's getting his ass handed to him. But like it just like think it's like the universe or like the video game is like, nope, this team's gonna win. I'm gonna make it win, and that's what it feels like it happened. So, and it's
Yeah.
funny you should talk about Mendoza and how, it's hard not to like that guy. And I think it's when you put him up against the other guy
Carson
that
fucking back.
well, no, well that yeah, him. But I was thinking about Diego Pavia. Is that his name? The other
Oh
guy
my. Oh,
that
the guy from
is it
uh
Vanderbilt,
Vandy. Oh, what a
Vandy
prick.
that
What a
that
prick.
is dressed up like The Rock for his Heisman Trophy ceremony, and then said like "fuck the committee" after he lost it and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, you put him up against him. It's a clearly good versus evil type scenario you got going
Yeah.
there. Um,
Oh, gosh.
but yeah, man, what
So,
a
yeah.
great experience.
So good versus evil is an interesting segue, which you probably didn't mean to do, but like well, first of all, are we done? Are we done talking about our Hoosiers at
Yes,
least for the time being? Okay,
I
okay.
mean, props to Signetti, props to the
Yeah.
2025-26 Indiana Hoosiers. What a great time to be alive to be able to witness that amazing run. I'll buy all the documentaries and Blu-rays and t-shirts and all the shit because I just think it's one for the ages. And the last stat I will leave you with, 122-3, which is how much we outscored Purdue in the last 2 fucking years. If you take the number of times we scored versus the number of points that they had, it would still be like 17-3. We have absolutely wiped our asses with Purdue over the past 2 years. and and that's not really the greatest accomplishment, but it's one of the funnest ones, that's for sure.
Well, and then we beat them in basketball just like last week,
Okay,
which
so
which is not great for them.
let's end with that one because all my Purdue fans, Ryan Hartman and all those guys, be like, "Yeah, man, we'll see you on the court," and then we can talk more once we see you on the court. And I texted him the day after. I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm up for a chat if you want to have one," and it was amazing. Like we had no business winning that game either. I was not
Right.
a good basketball team this year. Uh, and we beat Purdue on a 3 game skid to knock them out of, I don't think we knocked them out of the top 25, but we probably took them pretty close because they
Yeah,
didn't play very well. So, wow, what a time to be a Hoosier, right?
for sure. My brother sent me one more Hoosier thing, which actually is a good segue. The WWE will make championship belts.
Yeah, they
Did you
have
did
them.
you see the Hoosier belt that they
I
have?
did. It's
It's
fucking
700. It's
gorgeous.
$700 though.
I
I
think
don't
it's
think I could.
600, but
Is it
yes,
600?
it's
Yeah,
it's stupid ridiculous, but even some of the details are pretty cool.
it's crazy. Yeah,
So I wished I could drop stupid money like that on something like that because I would love to hang that up in my house.
yeah.
But I settled for the $100 splurge on a painting that
On the poster. Yeah.
on the poster. So it is what it is.
Okay, so speaking of wrestling, we've
Good
got some
versus
wrestling.
evil.
Yes,
Let's get back
right.
to
Good,
that.
yes. Good versus evil. So before we get to the Royal Rumble, which let's I think we got several minutes to talk about the Royal Rumble.
For
The
sure.
other massive thing that happened since we talked last is John Cena's last match.
Yeah.
talk about good versus evil. So, and I don't know that we talked about this. I don't even know if we texted, or if we did, it was very briefly. So,
Yeah.
do you have any thoughts on John Cena's last match, John Cena's legacy, kind of John Cena, the man that you can't see in general?
I
Give me a
was,
eulogy on John Cena.
oh, wow. How do you eulogize that guy? Um,
Did you watch it,
so
first of all?
yes, I watched
Okay.
the last match, and unlike most people, I was totally fine with everything that happened. I thought it was a good match. I thought the little moment where he smiles at the end before he taps out, even though I didn't understand it at the time, I thought it was sweet. I thought it was because it's not about um, contradicting the character, because everyone's like, well, he says never give up, but they gave up in his last match. But I mean, his whole thing is about, I am giving up. Like I'm retiring. Like I know I can't do this. So I am throwing in the towel, which is something in the business of professional wrestling that never happens. Like we never know. I think there's that old adage or that saying where it's like, every wrestler has his last match, but not every wrestler knows when his last match is being
Hmm.
had. So John Cena had the unique experience that I don't think anybody else had, which is he got to kind of plan out his retirement. And because he was such a well-renowned star and had so many accolades in the business and was with the company the entire run of his career, he kind of got to have a lot of say, or as much say as he wanted in his last year in his retirement. So I think there's a lot of things we could nitpick about the last year of his retirement and things, how they were done. But that's almost another podcast in itself. So I'll just stick to the last match. I thought it was a good match. I thought he did what he needed to do. Some of the pomp and circumstance at the end was awkward, not because of what they did, but because of how he received it, because he clearly doesn't receive criticism, or no, I'm sorry, he doesn't receive praise very well.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that it was fine. I have no problem with him tapping out. I think it was in hindsight, we always say, like, I don't know what's going to happen. And then we always say, well, in hindsight, that makes perfect sense. It did make perfect sense. When I
Yeah.
look at the bracket of who was involved in that
Yeah.
tournament,
For sure. Yeah.
Gunther was the one that needed that. Um, I think what's a little bit more controversial, and we will get there, is the decision to put Gunther over AJ Styles to retire him, because
Hmm.
that's crazy. But I like the John Cena stuff. I don't miss John Cena not being around because I knew he was going to retire. And to be honest, um, save for a few matches, I didn't really enjoy the wrestling aspect of his last year. I enjoyed the storytelling and some of the things that they did, but other than like maybe the AJ Styles match that he had and the second Cody Rhodes match, which would have been, what was that, SummerSlam? That was a great
SummerSlam was a
match.
great. It's a great
It
match.
was a
Yeah.
great match. WrestleMania was a total dud.
Hmm.
SummerSlam was great. The AJ Styles match was great. The Brock Lesnar match was a dud, but I get why they did that. But
Hmm.
I thought he ended the way that he needed to, and I truly believe, without any doubt, we will never see him in a ring again. We will see him in the WWE. He'll obviously get inducted into the Hall of Fame. He'll probably show up and do like maybe a manager gig, or I don't know, like he'll be in somebody's corner for some match or something like that. I have no doubt that he'll want to scratch that itch again, but he's not going to wrestle. He's done with the jorts. All that stuff is over with at this point. But I was satisfied. I liked it, but I was ready for it to be over. So maybe my perspective might be different. But what did you think?
No, I agree too. I did not think for one moment that John Cena was going to win his last match. Um,
Hmm.
I actually figured he would tap out or pass out, or
Really? Wow.
you know what? I didn't think he would tap out.
Yeah, that's where I was.
I thought they would do the like Stone Cold. He passed out from the pain. He never gave up. Blah blah blah.
Right.
That's what I figured they would have done. So yeah, the little smile and then the tap really kind of did rub me the wrong way a little bit, only because it It is, that's kind of at least a little bit go against the like never give up, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But you know,
That was
and
more
again, it's
self-indulgent, I think. That was for
it
him.
was
He did that for
it
him,
was
and
Eh,
when I think you take a step back and look at that, you're like, okay, you deserve that. Like if that's how you want
right,
to do it, then
right.
you do you.
Yeah. So yes, in that you're right. In that framing, I agree with you. Like who am I to tell John Cena, who arguably I think he probably is the GOAT. Like
Do
when
you
you
think
put
so?
it's uh, so it's funny when they kind of first started referring to him as the GOAT, which was, if you remember, it was like several years ago. I was like, yeah, that's a, I'm not quite, yeah, there's a real good argument to be made. There's a
Sure.
really good
Yeah, yeah,
argument.
yeah, yeah.
I might, and we've done this podcast, like our favorite wrestlers, our Mount Rushmore. It's a really strong, compelling argument that he might be the GOAT in terms of like, everything, the total package. Shout out Larry Pafal. But like, but yeah, I do. I think he might be. I would put it this way. I would have a hard time putting somebody above him. How about that?
So let me ask you this, just as a pure fucking off the cuff
Yeah.
hypothetical, and we'll get back to the Rumble, but
Yeah.
um, if Hulk Hogan had not had the reputation that he had
Hmm.
outside of the ring, with, the a few racist comments and
Right. Right.
his incessant politicking and all of that stuff, and that
Hmm.
doesn't work for me, brother, and all that stuff. If Hulk Hogan had been seemingly as pure, I say seemingly, as
Hmm.
pure and as inspirational as John Cena is outside of the ring,
Hmm.
do you think there would be a better argument for someone like Hulk Hogan, given that the company really started on his shoulders? I mean, the company as we know it today, the WrestleMania 3 era, when 93,000 in the Pontiac Silverdome and body slamming the giant and all that stuff. Like, do you think it would be different if the outside of the ring stuff wasn't what it was with Hulk Hogan? And if so, like where do you think he would stack up to a John Cena? Like he doesn't have 17 titles, but also like that's not really an
Right.
accomplishment as much because that's a business decision, right? So whatever. But like, that's my question to you. Do you think it would be different if we weren't persuaded by some of the personal stuff that has come out about Hulk Hogan over the years?
I do. I do. Yeah, 100%. I do because I don't think you're there. I don't think there's any argument, even from Hulk Hogan detractors, the sheer um, volume of kind of changes and how much Hogan contributed to the business of professional. You can't argue with that, whether you
Yeah.
like him or not, right? To your point, you probably don't have WrestleMania. You certainly don't have, things like Saturday Night's Main Event. Like you don't have a the concept of a superstar, right,
Yeah.
without the Hulk Hogan's of the world. You have professional wrestlers,
Yeah.
whereas when you kind of, you don't have that kind of rock and wrestling. You don't have the WrestleMania. You don't like those kind of things. So yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that if it's not John Cena, it's Hogan is in that kind of that upper echelon. I don't know that Ric Flair ever really necessarily gets there. He's kind of lauded as like in that, but he spent the majority of his time in WCW, NWA. I'm not sure that he necessarily gets there. And then you kind of, in my mind, you go next to kind of The Rock and Austin and even Macho Man, who is arguably
Mm.
like my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Macho is not, but he's not that guy, right? Like he's not in the same echelon in terms of like outside of like he's still kind of a niche player. You know what I mean? Like
He
the
is, but I don't know why. I don't understand it
me
because
neither. Yeah, me
I'm
neither.
with you on that. Like I have you and I have talked about this for a very long time, and you know that Jake the Snake is one of my favorite
Hmm.
wrestlers of all time. But Macho Man couldn't be a closer second place for me
Hmm.
personally. Like he had all the charisma, he had all the athletic talent, he had the move set, he could play a good guy and a bad guy, both very,
Hmm.
very, very well. Um, I don't think he gets the flowers that he absolutely deserves. He only held two world titles,
Hmm.
but he was this interesting character in a time and place where characters were. I'd be really interested to see what it would be like if you took Macho Man out of the Legend era and you put him in this era. At his, if you could
Oh
make
God,
him
he'd be so good.
if you could make
He'd be
him
so good.
28 years old
Yeah.
in today's WWE, holy shit. Like
Yeah.
I think if you really cut him loose on promos and things like that, it would be incredible. So I say all that just to say I am 100% with you there. Like Macho Man and Jake are kind of like the top tier of I mean, they're on my Mount Rushmore for sure. Those
Hmm.
two are there. I don't have we had the Mount Rushmore conversation? I guess we probably have. We should
I
update
think
that one.
we should. I think we did. Yeah. In fact, now that I think about it, I'd have to go back and look. That might have been the very first episode that you joined me on the podcast,
Oh
if I
wow.
remember. If I, which is, God, here now I'm gonna have to go look. It is several years ago at this point. Let me take a look here. We can either
Yeah.
pause the recording and come back to it, or let's see. So. Let's see, what episode was that? That would have been, this is the beauty of having everything on the website here. Mount Rushmore. So I did Mount Rushmore by myself in episode 13 of the podcast, which was recorded in May of 2020. Okay. And then, yes, you joined me. We did Mount Rushmore round two. It was recorded on March 27th, 2020. That was the very first episode that you joined me on the podcast, which would have been episode 15
Oh,
of the
wow.
podcast.
That's
Yeah. So,
crazy. So
yeah.
we're
So,
definitely due for an updated Mount Rushmore for that.
yes. Yes, we are.
But
So,
all that
yes.
aside, let's get back to
Yes.
the Rumble because
Yes.
our non-wrestling fans want us to move quickly through this stuff, which
Yes.
I don't ultimately care because like this is the fun part for us. But
Yes.
um, so we talked about
Yeah, so we talked about John Cena's last
yeah,
match, and one more thing on that. So I agree with you wholeheartedly that if you look at that tournament, I with maybe one exception, I don't think there's anybody else that should have gotten that win other than Gunther. So if you look at the people, you had Jey Uso, you had The Miz, Damian Priest, Rusev, Sheamus, Nakamura, LA Knight, Zack Ryder, which was awesome.
very
Um,
cool.
yep, Penta, Finn Balor, Dolph Ziggler, also cool. Solo Sokoa, Javon Evans, Gunther, Carmelo Hayes, and who's Reed? Reed is who the hell's that?
Bronson Reed.
Oh, Bronson Reed. Yeah, yeah. Um, and I say with one exception, the only other exception that I might have given that to is LA Knight. And
Mm.
Gunther beat LA Knight in the finals of that tournament. So with that class, with that, I think Gunther is the right choice to come out of there to face Cena.
Yes, I agree.
So,
And I think they've done great things with him since then to
yep.
set him up to be the next, like, probably the next Roman. I don't know if that's a fair comparison because Roman was largely defined by the bloodline and
Hmm.
his compatriots, if you will. And Gunther's really on his own now because, Ludwig Kaiser is El Grande Americano numero dos or whatever you want to fucking call him. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how they're going to work that, but I agree with you. I think Gunther is great, and they've done a good job of pushing him. In fact, as we segue into the Royal Rumble, I honestly thought as soon as Gunther ran out
I
at
thought he was
number
going to win.
30, I thought he was
I
going to
thought,
win. And I
yeah,
was all for it too. At that
yeah,
point, I was like, let's fucking go, right? Like, let's make him, because he's riding this rocket ship right now. He beat Cena. He beat AJ Styles literally that night and retired him. I don't
yep.
I don't think they should go too far with the whole Gunther is the guy who retires people, although they could carry it a few more steps if they wanted to. But I will be legitimately surprised if when WrestleMania time comes that Gunther is not in the mix of a title match of some flavor, right? Like right now, it hasn't presented, and maybe he's in Elimination Chamber, or maybe he gets the other win there. I don't know. Or maybe somebody brings him into a triple threat match or something like that. But you can't give Gunther this big of a push and not put him in a title match for WrestleMania, right? I mean, do you agree with that, or am I off base?
Um, no, I don't think you're off base, but I also, so yes, I agree with you that you can't push him to the moon like this and then not give him a super high profile match at WrestleMania, which arguably would be one of the title matches. I do think we're gonna get um, Punk and Roman at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: Roman wins the Rumble. We'll come back to it. I do have thoughts on that. Um, I wonder though, like, are you going to get something like are, are you going to get Chris Jericho to come back and he's going to retire Chris Jericho at WrestleMania? Because and here's why I say that. I genuinely think they're going to continue the like career killer for a
Hmm.
while. And the reason I say that is I think he's going to retire Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam in
Mm,
Minneapolis. I genuinely think that's where they're going. And if that's the case, he doesn't need a title between now and SummerSlam. If he's retiring all these people,
yeah.
he doesn't need a
So
title.
that's interesting. I think that's cool. I don't think I I could be very wrong. I don't think they're going to do that. I think this new guy, Obafemi, is going to be the one that could
Lesnar?
potentially, if he
Like,
if he doesn't retire Lesnar, he will beat Lesnar. I think that
okay.
that's going to be the way that they try to put him over because they gave him that spot in the Rumble, and Obafemi is just like, I mean, he is
He's a brick shithouse. Yeah.
absolutely the newest beast incarnate, if you will. Um, so I kind of feel like there's a program or there's something that's going to happen with those guys. I could see, although I don't know if I'm confident about this speculation, but I could see um, Gunther going into a program with Rey Mysterio because Rey
Retire him.
Mysterio
Hmm.
can't last past WrestleMania. I just don't see him going much further than that. And as much as I would like to say, well, he's going to go out against Dominic, I don't think. I think Dominic's trajectory is one in which, like, he's done the Rey Mysterio deadbeat dad thing already. We all know Dominic is going to be the world champion someday. He
I
is
agree.
absolutely going to be at the top of the pack at some point. I think it does him a disservice to continue some kind of a program with Ray at this point. So
Yeah.
I don't see that as being like a, I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't see that as being a WrestleMania retirement match for Rey Mysterio between him and Dom. I think it could be something like that. And what tipped my hat to that was like, oh, well, uh, Gunther, I almost called him Walter. Gunther came out on Monday Night Raw this past week, and Dragon Lee came out and fought him. And I'm like, well,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
what the fuck's that all about? That was so random. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, it's actually not random.
The
Dragon Lee
tag team. Yeah.
was AJ's tag team partner. But I think if they wanted to, they could cleverly segue that into um, Rey Mysterio if they wanted to, because we have some people that are going to be retiring in the near future, and why not throw them up against Gunther? You know, why not do something like that if everybody retires on their back like Cena, like everybody else?
Yeah.
Um, I think that makes sense, but I don't know. I'm not sure if you agree with that or what your thoughts are on how they kind of book him
Yeah,
in the near future.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I guess what I don't know is like who all slated to retire over the next, call it two years, 3 years, whatever it is, right? And then
Well,
and then
you
you
got
know,
Randy.
well,
You
that yeah,
you got Randy, and I think that would be a fucking mega powerful like
yeah.
I still think he might set him up for another title. It depends on how long he's got, if he's got another year, but I could
Well,
see Gunther putting him out.
I think I thought I saw, and I don't know where I saw it, that Randy's going to go after Drew at WrestleMania, which would be, where did I
If
see
he
that?
if he wins the chamber, you mean?
Yes.
He would have to win the elimination chamber, which
Yeah.
is uh
The next pay-per-view. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's entirely possible. Um because everybody's speculating that they're going to give him one more title before
Hmm.
he's over and done with, which it could happen. I don't feel like he's in that spot right now though. Like I mean he's having good fun matches, but
Right.
I don't see him as being one of the top guys.
Did
So
did you happen to watch the promo on Monday night between Roman and CM Punk?
I saw many clips. I don't know if I
Okay.
saw it in its
Okay.
entirety, but yes, I
Here.
saw that.
Okay.
And I didn't have a whole lot of desire to see a Roman Punk match until I saw that promo.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, all right,
I'm
I'm
in.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing, yes. So I agree with you 100%. I wasn't overly jazzed that Roman, like I like Roman. I wasn't
Yeah.
overly jazzed that he won the Rumble.
Same.
Um, but I wasn't disappointed either, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of like,
and
yeah, I figure it
right,
makes
yeah, I get it.
sense.
Yeah.
I don't love
Uh,
it, but I don't hate it.
right. Now what I will say is Punk Roman, if that's where we get to after Elimination Chamber and blah blah blah. I mean, talk about an upgrade from Gunther Jey Uso for that
Yeah.
title, right? I mean, and again,
Yeah.
I like Gunther and I like Jey Uso, but like for that title last year at WrestleMania, like that was the curtain jerker last year, wasn't it? I think.
That was
I think
that was the opening match
right,
for night
right of
one.
of night one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And that was and it was an okay match, but also like Jay
Gunther
was
Gunther tapped. Gunther tapped to a sleeper in
yeah.
that match, which is still so weak. I still don't understand that booking decision. But anyways,
I don't either,
but
but
again,
it gives Gunther a nice amount of heat for people
it
to
does.
chant against. So
You tapped out, yeah.
I'm giving maybe WWE creative a little bit more credit than they deserve in having done that because I think it's a terrible decision, but also it gives the fans something to yell at him about. So
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
does work.
So I loved that promo, but the one thing that really, and here's why I'm bringing this up. Here's where I think they're going for WrestleMania, or it wouldn't shock me if they do this, and I would be really pumped if they did. Did you notice in that Punk Roman promo, they both tore down Drew McIntyre? They made him look like shit. Both of them did. Did you notice that?
I no, because I didn't see the whole
Okay.
thing, so I
So if you
didn't
go,
hear that
okay.
piece.
So if you go back and you listen, they both were basically like, yeah, Drew sucks. I beat him, you beat him, we all beat him. Like they made him, and again, Drew McIntyre is the universal champion right now, right?
Yeah,
Like
right. He's got
he
the big
is
belt.
he's got the big belt, and they both like shit on him. Here's where I think they might go. I could see them having Roman face Punk on one night and then face Drew the next night. And Roman walks out of night two with both belts. It would not shock me at all.
Mm,
Because you
interesting.
remember Roman
Interesting.
had both of those belts for how many years?
Yeah, interesting. But where do you put Cody? Because Cody's got to be in the mix. I'm not saying he needs to walk out with a title, but he's got to be in the mix somewhere. He's not. He's not going to be at WrestleMania without a title shot, right?
Here's where I think you put Cody. I still think you got to run back and you got to pay off the I want your soul promo with The Rock. with The
Well,
Rock.
yeah.
Hang on,
Okay. Okay.
because I think ultimately where you're going is Rock Roman at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. That's where I think you're going 2 years from, or not this year, next year.
Hmm. Interesting.
That's yeah.
I'm of the mind that I don't think we're going to see The Rock in a ring anymore. I don't
You
think
don't,
we
well,
will.
okay, all right.
I don't think so. I don't, I'm not dying on that hill, but I don't see a scenario at this point where, because I mean, his acting career is really
Mm-hmm.
taking off. The Smashing Machine was not a super lucrative movie, but by all accounts, and I haven't seen it,
I
he
was gonna
gave
say,
it.
okay,
No, I haven't seen it yet, but he gave allegedly an incredible performance in it and has been nominated for various things. I don't see him coming back to it. I would love it. I think the entire WWE universe would love it, but I'm not sure if I see them trying to revisit the. So when, during some of John Cena's interviews towards, the end, he was kind of, how do I say this? A lot of people, a lot of like Chris Van Vliet and other people, Cody Rhodes in that interview that he did after his retirement match, that was the first
mm-hmm.
one he did after, asked him about The Rock and some of that stuff. And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, we didn't have him. Like he wasn't around. We didn't have him.
Right.
I don't see a compelling enough reason to get The Rock back into the ring. I don't see a compelling enough reason for The Rock to want to get back into the ring to do a program with somebody. He doesn't need the money. I don't think, I don't know. I could be very wrong, and I sincerely hope that I am, but I
Right.
don't see him back in a WWE ring. So as much as I would love to see that storyline tied up,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think The Rock's going to do it. I don't think
Okay.
there's going to be any initiative on his part to get involved in that. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I
Yeah.
hope so, because
I
I
don't
would
know.
love to see that.
Yeah, the reality is, and we say this every year, like now is the best time of the year to be a
Yeah,
wrestling fan because we don't know, right? So,
right.
okay, so we talked about the men's rumble. There's only 4 matches on the card.
Yeah.
You had AJ and Gunther. Let's come back to that one. Drew and Sammy, I thought was fucking terrible. I thought it was just there. It was meh. It was like a raw match at best. I just didn't care for it. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you are.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have classified it as terrible, but I would say that if you're not going to let Sammy get the title, which I understand why
Hmm.
they didn't, but if you're
Yeah.
not going to let him get the title, then it was a waste of time. It
Yeah.
just didn't, there was nothing enough there. And unless you're just trying to set Sammy up to be the most lovable loser of all time, and then eventually you'll get him to pay off somewhere down the line. He'll win the title. He'll get it at some
Yeah,
point.
I mean, maybe you
I
do a thing
think. I hope.
where he wins the elimination chamber, and then I don't know. Maybe they put him back in.
At this
I don't know.
point, I kind of
Yeah,
hope not, because I think it's very
yeah,
clear that they don't want to put that title on him. Otherwise, they would have done it by now.
right.
The one thing that I think would have been really cool was if they would have let him win the title, and then Kevin Owens walks out at the end of the Rumble and
I
it's
could have.
like,
Yeah,
"Hey, motherfucker, don't forget, like we're best friends, but also I want that title."
right.
I don't know where Kevin is with his recovery and his neck issues and all of that stuff, but um, I just I agree with you. To an extent. I don't think it was a terrible match, but I also think, God, it was kind of a waste of time. I think we could have
Yeah,
put a better match in there with higher stakes, because I don't really feel like anybody thought Sammy was going to win. And but at the same time, also, I guess it's good to get Drew some TV time with that belt around his
sure.
waist. He
Yeah,
needs to establish himself as a champion. So
hmm,
beating someone like Sammy makes sense.
yeah,
But yeah, so there's that, and then of course the women's rumble, which is, I guess, where you're probably going next.
yeah. So I'm a huge Liv Morgan fan. I think that's the right call for her to win the Rumble. I'm always worried when I see Charlotte Flair in a Rumble because I'm worried that she's gonna fucking win again because I just don't like that character. Um, but no, I mean I love Liz. I think that's there was a kind of a bunch of it was kind of a sloppy Rumble.
It was
But
better than the men's
it
Rumble,
was
I
it was
think.
it was it
I
was it
I
was
think it was a
it
better
was
match overall
yeah.
than the men's Rumble.
It was. I will say, and we were texting, we've got this text group, but you, my brother, and Grayson and I, Lash Legend to me was kind of the standout who
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever seen her before. Grayson did some sleuthing. She's actually married to Trick Williams, which I didn't know. And
Oh,
she's
no
also
shit.
yeah, and she's
That's
actually a
interesting.
former WNBA player as well, which I didn't know. But I was really impressed with her. Seeing Brie Bella, okay, great. Does that mean Daniel Bryan's coming back? Probably not. I mean, he can't wrestle, so he's not coming back. So it was kind of cool to see her. I'm also glad that like Nikki didn't turn on her because like that's like the most obvious thing in the world ever.
Yeah.
So, um, but again, I'm a fan of seeing Liv win the title. I haven't seen. Has she made a choice who she's going after?
No, I don't believe
Okay.
I don't think she's come out and said anything yet.
Okay. Okay. I
So,
mean,
yeah.
presumably it would be Stephanie Vakir, but I don't know that. Um, but
Yeah.
I like Liv, so I'm happy with that match.
Right. I like Liv. I'm happy with the outcome. I'm a little bit shocked that Bianca Belair did not show up in that Rumble because we haven't seen her, I don't think, since WrestleMania of last year.
Correct. That's correct.
And they said she was injured, but she broke her finger. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm sorry. That's not a 9 month injury. Like, that's
Right.
not something that I think. Obviously she's
Was
probably
she
just taking some time off. And
was she you said 9 months? Was she pregnant? She wasn't pregnant, was she?
no, I don't think
No.
so. Naomi was
Okay.
pregnant, and
Yeah.
she left to do that. But I honestly think that Bianca probably just took some time off. But I was
Yeah.
shocked to not see her, and there were definitely some surprising omissions from both the men's and the women's Rumble that I thought people were going to show up and they didn't. Tiffany Stratton coming back was cool. It was good to see her again because I think that she's going to be interesting to make a run for one of the titles. But yeah, the Bellas, to be honest with you, the Bellas do not interest me at all anymore. They don't seem to have any sort of energy to them. It just seems to be, I don't know. I'm not accusing them of doing a cash grab, but like I just don't feel the energy that I would expect to feel from them right now. And they came out on Raw on Monday. I don't know if you saw it, but they did like a, I don't know, 2 minute, 3 minute promo on we're here and we're together and we want to win the women's tag team division
Oh, really? Yeah.
is better
Okay.
than ever and we're here to win the tag team belts. And I'm just like, yeah, but like the way that whole thing was delivered was so lame and it wasn't
Yeah.
with any energy whatsoever. So I'm like, I immediately already don't really want anything to do with the Bellas. I mean, they're hot, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know, like the tag team division is for the women's, it's great. Like Rhea and Io, and you've got Charlotte and Alexa, and the Kabuki, all the stuff. Like, there's the, it's great. It's definitely yeah, exactly. It's all super fun and interesting, but like the Bella twins don't factor into that for me personally at all. But
Yeah. I really think we're gonna get Rhea and Io one on one at WrestleMania. I think one of
I
them
do
is going to
too.
turn because they're way too lovey dovey right now. Oh, and we're
Yes,
best friends.
they're
I
gushing
think
it right
yeah,
now.
I think Rhea is going to kick the shit out of her and turn heel. Is would be my guess.
I mean, that would make more sense. I hope that doesn't happen because I love Rhea. She's my
Yeah,
favorite in the women's, and I
yeah.
think that that goes for everybody. But also, I don't know. Can you turn EO bad at
No,
this
that's
point?
the thing. No, you
I don't
can't.
think you can
Yeah,
turn her heel. So I think you're right because I mean, they're like practically making out,
yeah.
every time they're in the ring. So something's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do between now and WrestleMania, but because neither one of them hold the title. Well, they had their Are they tag champs right now? I'm forgetting, but
I don't even know,
I
but
think
yeah,
I think they might be tag champs, but
that's terrible. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I'm blanking out because it wasn't a focus on the Rumble, but um, I do think that they're posturing for something later for them.
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay. So let's see. We chatted about the Hoosiers. We chatted about Royal Rumble. I got a couple other real quickie things. Are we good with the Rumble? You got anything else on the Rumble or wrestling?
So maybe just one more quick thing to
Yeah.
tie that up because we said we were going to come back to Gunther
Oh,
AJ
sorry. Yes. Yeah.
Styles.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
And
Yep.
I don't want to forget that because that was a really important match. It was a really good match. And AJ Styles is this wrestler who, over the last year or two, I really sort of woken up and thought, oh shit, I've really slept on this guy because he's unbelievable. I hate to use the word phenomenal because
Phenomenal.
that's a little on the nose, but AJ is he's so good. He doesn't have all the charisma that a Seth Rollins or uh, a CM Punk has, something like that. But he has the most I mean, he's sort of a modern day Bret Hart, I think, because he's technically amazing. He's got good charisma, maybe not great, um, but he is such a good talent. And we all knew going into the Rumble that this was probably going to be his last calendar year of wrestling. And then they set up this angle where it's like, well, AJ Styles is wrestling a retirement match, and if he loses, he has to retire. And I didn't think he was going to lose, but also I didn't think he was going to win because this Gunther thing is something they can't afford to back off of. So they have this match. It's a great match. I loved it. I thought it was really good. And AJ loses. He gets submitted at the end, much like John Cena did. Slight difference. AJ didn't tap out. AJ passed out, which is kind of, I think,
Hmm.
what we're all expecting from Cena. And this procession happens at the end. Everybody's cheering for him, and he takes off his gloves and acts like he's going to put him down on the mat, and then he changes his mind and puts him back on. So I've got a lot of thoughts here, and I really want to know what your thoughts are as well, because I think, first of all, AJ having his last WWE match in Saudi Arabia is a really interesting choice. I don't know whose choice it was. Um, I think it's very weird because the WWE universe loves AJ Styles and they will cheer for him everywhere. But to have him sign off on his last match in Saudi Arabia is really bizarre to me. I understand why that whole thing happened, but the fact that it happened in Saudi Arabia was, I think, just a little bit weird. I don't know. Did you find that odd?
Yeah. So I did. I have thoughts about Saudi Arabian wrestling in general.
Right.
I don't fucking like it. I don't like it at all. It's and again, it's not an anti-Saudi Arabia thing. I don't like watching fucking wrestling at 2 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. I
Well,
just
yeah,
don't like it. I just don't, right? And when you layer that in with the fact that over the years there've been some questionable booking decisions over there because you're catering clearly to the Saudi fans that don't get much of this stuff, right? So
sure,
you
sure.
get matches like with fucking an old Undertaker and an old
Shawn
King and
Michaels.
an old Shawn Mike, yeah, like that kind of stuff. And then you get the women, wearing fucking full body suits, which again, I'm not trying to be sexist, but like watching those, like you like to
Yeah.
watch them the way they
It's
wrestle, right?
obviously not the norm from what
Right,
we see. Yeah.
right. And so yeah, I think AJ, this is gonna sound weird, but I think he deserved more than a goodbye match in Saudi Arabia. Um, I also don't think that's the last time we've seen AJ Styles.
Definitely not.
Um, I do think it wouldn't shock me if you don't see AJ Styles in a WWE ring again. I think he's going to show up in TNA or
Yes.
AEW or something like that. But I think you will see AJ Styles again.
Oh yeah.
Um, And I think that's probably why he um picked his gloves back up. He didn't leave him there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Would be my guess.
right.
Um, I mean, why you would have that match in Saudi, I think it's probably just money. Hey, AJ, we're going to pay you a fucking boatload of money to go over there and retire
Yeah.
there.
I
It's,
hope he
which is,
got it too,
yeah,
sincerely. Like I hope
right.
he made the most money ever off of that
Yeah.
match.
And so that's fine. I do think it, as we alluded to earlier, I do think it kind of continues that. I think that booking decision is probably more, which is sad to say, probably more about Gunther than it is about AJ. You know what I mean? It was just
For
convenient
sure. Yeah.
that AJ was going out, and they said, "Oh, we'll kill two birds with one stone here. We'll retire AJ, give Saudi what they want, and it'll be another notch in Gunther's belt, kind of on the
Hmm.
way towards, again, whether it's Lesnar or whoever, whatever it is."
Right.
So, um, yeah, I would have liked to have seen a year-long kind of thing the way we got with Cena. Um, but I think that kind of speaks to what was so special about Cena's last year, to your point, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that. That is not a thing that you see, right? And so um I think we probably will see a retirement tour of sorts from AJ, but I think it's going to be either in TNA or in AEW. I don't think it's going to be in WWE.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I think um because of WWE's relationship with TNA, because they have a relationship
Yeah.
right now, I think it wouldn't surprise me if a couple of years ago AJ went to Triple H and said, "Hey man, I'm going to be retiring soon. Here's how I would like to go out, if at all
Hmm.
possible." AJ cut his teeth in TNA. Like that's where he came up, that's where he started. He eventually came to WWE. I think he's got a very special fondness for his time in TNA. I think that's where he's going to end his career. Um, I don't know if it's going to be a year-long thing. I could see. I don't know much about TNA, to be honest. Like I don't know what their WrestleMania is. I would assume whatever it is, it's around the same time as WrestleMania because I didn't see AJ going much further than WrestleMania of this year. I didn't see a year-long retirement situation for him. I thought it would be more like, I'm going to end my career on the big stage and be done with it that way. And maybe he does that, but he does it with TNA instead of the WWE. And the WWE is fine with that because they made that arrangement, and also they could use that as a way to put Gunther over even further. So we will definitely see AJ Styles wrestle at least one more match, maybe a couple. Um, Most certainly in TNA, and but I was still a little bit surprised at the end of that match that that's the kind of way that he went out.
Yeah.
That was a bummer. I thought he deserved more, and I'm late to the game with the AJ Styles fan club, but I really did pick up speed on that, and I'm like, man, he's so good. Like
He's
he's
really good.
so
Yeah.
amazingly talented
Yeah.
at what he does, but. So I think that's the end of the wrestling critique. I don't think I have too much more on the Royal Rumble, but we are,
Okay.
like you said, in the season. We're leading up to WrestleMania, so sorry, 406 listeners. We will probably have some more wrestling content over the next couple months.
Yes. One more kind of, I'll call it wrestling adjacent thing that I just saw today, as a matter of fact. And I know it's something that you and I have talked about. Real American Beer is they are removing Hulk Hogan from their cans. So
Whoa!
so those cans, if you want a Hulk Hogan can, they're going to be difficult to find. So if you want one, you should go out and find one. They're going to go to a more generic, like just kind of, it's still going to be Real American Beer, but it's no longer going to have Hogan on the cans.
Wow!
I
That's
just saw that
crazy.
today. Yeah. So, which if I had to guess, I would imagine that means that that will probably be the end of their brand in the next couple years, because if you don't have Hogan, like, right?
What's real American about it?
What's real?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well, I got to find a six
yeah.
pack somewhere then.
Yeah.
And put that on my fridge, on top of my
Yeah.
fridge versus in my fridge, and
Yes.
just keep it as a keepsake. But
Yes.
yeah, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. Let's see. I got two other quick things here. One is, did you see The Long Walk? Did
No,
you watch
I
that
have
movie?
I
Okay.
have not seen that.
Okay. I watched that movie on a plane. I don't remember if it was on, must have been to Mexico. I'm not a big Stephen King fan in general, just like over, like I like some of his stuff, but just in general, I'm not like, oh my God, I got to see Stephen King movies. And I genuinely, I didn't know like that story other than I knew it was about a fucking long walk. There's a bunch of guys that were walking. And I was interested to see kind of if they could make a compelling movie out of a story where 50 guys walk like until there's one guy left. And they did. They made a compelling movie. It awesome? No, it wasn't awesome, but it was watchable. It was compelling, and it held my attention. So
Nice.
I put a review of it on Scare Tissue. It's a recommendable film. Not awesome, but like not terrible. Not a bad movie by any stretch. So if worth watching. How about that?
Yeah, I
Um,
like that.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's son is one of the leads in it, and he's outstanding in it. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
So yeah. So, anyways, have you seen anything? The only other movie news that I wanted to bring up is Scream comes out in 20 days or something like that, and I'm pumped. I cannot fucking wait.
Dude, I had four things on my list, and we talked IU football, Royal Rumble, and Scream 7 was on there.
Okay.
And I was just going to ask you, like, at this point, like, where are your thoughts? Where are your feelings with this movie? Are you still super excited for it? Are you a little bit nervous about how it's going to come out? I mean, this is going to be like the End Game or Infinity War. This is the Avengers version of Scream because we're supposed to get a lot of these characters coming back in some fashion. I don't know how. Um, and I'm a little nervous about how they pull all this off and still make it really good and interesting, but interested in your perspective based off of the trailers and the spots that you've seen so far.
So I only saw, and I didn't do it on purpose, but I only saw the original teaser trailer, which I think we actually talked about the last time we were on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, we did.
I haven't seen any, and I know there have been other drops and other trailers since then. I have not seen them. And I haven't like gone out of my way to avoid them, but I also haven't gone out of my way to find them, if that makes any sense. To answer your question, yes, I am very excited about this. And yes, I am very nervous about how they're going to do it.
Mhm.
If I had to guess, they're going to do some sort of an AI chat GPT version of some of these characters
Mhm.
because with the exception of Stu, these characters that they're bringing back, they are dead.
Right.
Like Dewey is dead,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. Roman.
Roman
Yeah.
is dead. And so if they try to bring them back, if they try to retcon those characters, I'm gonna have a real fucking problem with it. Stu, I would be okay with because I don't think I never thought he was. He never got the kind of death. I mean, fucking Dewey. If they try to bring Dewey back, fuck you. Like
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I
um,
agree. 100%.
so, um, I suppose they could do a kind of Billy Loomis kind of thing with a ghost kind of thing, but I didn't really care for that either, if I'm being honest with you.
Well,
Um,
yeah, they can only do that so effectively if they have like
right,
six characters they have to do that with,
right,
like
right.
I'm
So,
picturing this sort of what movie was that? The DC movie. It was where they showed like Superman and it was Christopher Reeve and then it was Nicolas Cage.
oh,
Shit.
that was Flash. That was
Oh,
Flash.
thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm picturing sort of like a thing like that where it was like they show really poorly animated or
bad
CG
CGI. Yeah,
animated versions of these characters. And God, I just
yeah.
hope they don't do that.
I was gonna say, here's what I don't want. Right, I don't want whoever the killer is in this one. Again, whether it's Stu or whoever, I don't want like some fucking dream sequence where, oh, here's all the killers from the past. I don't want that. that would bum me out if it's like a dream sequence or
Yeah.
a like that kind of thing, or like some flashback. I suppose it can. I suppose it could be like some sort of Randy Meeks style video where we get to see footage of Dewey that we've never seen before. It's, Dewey and Gale. It's a home video kind of shit. Like, I suppose they could do something like that, which would
Yeah.
kind of bum me out. That's a cheat in my opinion, but they could do that, I suppose.
I don't want them to do some really poorly affected de-aging
Hmm.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because like I don't know if you've seen this yet. I just saw it recently, but there's this Super Bowl spot that's going to come out with Jurassic Park and
No.
like I guess Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern all come back, but they have
Wow.
de-aged them to make it look like the scenes that were shot in 1991 or whatever year it was that Jurassic Park came out. And some of that looks so fucking awkward and so bad. Like, go to YouTube after this and look it up.
Okay.
I think the Jeff Goldblum stuff looks pretty suspect. I think the Sam Neill stuff looks terrible. Like, bad, terrible stuff. That's what I'm hoping is that like there's a point where de-aging can work. Ironically, the only time that it's ever worked effectively, in my opinion, was like there was like the third X-Men movie that came out, um, where Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen did a scene at the beginning where they were just sort of de-aged there, and it looked
Hmm.
fine, it looked good. But like with AI and what a lot of that is happening now, it just looks so fucking weird and unnatural. I'm not buying it. So I hope, I guess long story short, that's not what Scream is doing, that they're not relying too much on the technology to uh bring all these actors back and make them look super young because it never works. It only
Yeah.
distracts from the story.
Yeah. Are you, where are you? Are you excited about this movie?
I'm more nervous than excited at this point. I mean,
Okay.
I'm gonna go see it. I will be there on opening night or on the Thursday night of that weekend because I definitely don't want to get spoiled. And you've only got probably realistically about a weekend of, if you go
Yeah.
to websites and all that stuff, like you've got about a weekend before everybody starts posting that shit, especially
Hmm.
with a movie like this. I think I'm more nervous than anything at this point because I don't see how they're gonna pull it all together. I think they have more not great movies than great movies in this franchise. I'm hopeful that it's going to be good because the sixth movie we both were very bullish on, but
Hmm.
also the things that we were bullish on are not coming back for the seventh movie.
True. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
unless they totally, and I know I think I said this on a previous podcast, but unless they WWE this shit and work us all, and here comes Melissa Barrera and here comes Jenna Ortega, amazing. Like I would love that
Yeah.
shit because I was ready to move on from the Sidney Prescott days. But she's coming back, and I don't love Nev Campbell enough to think that her being back is going to make this a better movie, unless they come
Hmm.
up with a good story to surround it. So if they can do that, then great. But
So
I don't know.
let me ask you this. What is more plausible? Um, Sidney Prescott is the killer, or Melissa Barrera and what's her name?
Jenna
Uh,
Ortega,
Jenna Ortega come back without us knowing.
that one, that one's more
That one?
plausible, I
Okay.
think,
That's more
because this
plausible?
I think so, yes,
Okay.
because this movie, which I don't think it's a spoiler at this point, centers around Sydney and her daughter, right? So her
Yeah.
daughter, who's named Tatum very cleverly,
Hmm.
is they're both victims or potential victims of this new ghost face killer. I don't think that Sydney's going to be the killer or the one
Okay.
that's trying to
Sure.
kill her own daughter.
Yeah.
I don't see that as being a thing. And I know that we have talked exhaustively of this franchise and said, like you and I are kind of the minor. It's like either make Sydney the killer or kill her off, like
Killer.
one or the other.
Yeah.
Do something to push this forward. I don't see them doing either one of those things for this movie. Um, I would love it if they did. And maybe they could pull a whole Drew Barrymore thing and be like,
Yeah,
yes, Nev Campbell came back, but we're going to kill her at the very beginning. I would love that. You would hook me immediately if you did that. I don't think they're going to have the balls to do it because I definitely think they're going to want to continue to make these movies. I think they
yeah,
had the momentum to do that before the Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera thing
yeah.
fell through. And so I think, yeah, I don't know. That's why
Well, the other
I'm struggling coming up with some hope for what they're going to try to put forth.
well, the other thing too is based based on the footage that I have seen, which is not much. I I think I've seen too much of Sydney. Like, you know what I mean? Like she
Yeah.
seems to be in a lot of the, at least
Yes.
of the stuff that, unless all that shit is like in the first 10 minutes of the movie, which I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is
Yeah.
either. And there was obviously a big controversy about Neff Campbell not getting what she thought she deserved for Scream
Yeah.
6. So she didn't participate in it. It was the
Yeah.
only Scream movie that she wasn't in. So I don't see them bringing her back just so they can kill her in the first five
Right.
minutes. As much as I would be happy to see that,
Right.
from a storytelling perspective, not because I hate Neff Campbell, but I
Yeah.
just think that would be a really great twist in the first couple minutes. They don't have the balls to do it. And I don't think she would come back just to do that. I
Yeah.
don't think that would make any sense for her. So
Do you
she's going to be through the whole movie, and
yeah.
that's how it's going to be.
What one more question on Scream. What do you how do you think they're going to handle Jenna and Melissa? Are they going to just like, are they going to retcon them out? Are they going to do dropped line where like they're just not there anymore? Oh, they went upstate, blah, blah. Like, how do you think they're going to handle them?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that yet, but I feel like it's going to be a drop line kind of thing. If they
Are
even
we
do
going to
that,
are we going
because
to
it,
get the other two of the core four? Are they going to still be around?
yes, I believe
You
they're in
think
the
so?
movie.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
absolutely believe they're in the movie. So they'll probably make a passing comment because they'll feel like they have to. But also, part of me thinks, well, with Sydney back, they're not going to feel overly obligated to dwell on that particular
Yeah.
subject. So
Yeah.
I think they will drop a line. And if they don't drop a line, then maybe I'll be thinking the whole time, oh, well,
They're the
maybe
killers. Yeah.
maybe they are coming back. And I
Yeah.
would love that. I would fucking love that. It would be different. I don't know how well it could be executed, but if it was something different, then I would love it. My concern is we're going to sit through this movie hoping that they're going to blow our minds or
And then it's not.
change the
Yeah.
game, and it's the same thing, and I'm going to be like, fuck you, I'm done with Scream. Like,
The
this is a make or break movie for me in this franchise.
the only reason that I think it might be Melissa Barrera is I have seen her pop up in the media a couple times over the last, call it 2 or 3 weeks. And I saw a quote from her today, I think, where she was basically like, I'm misquoting her, but you'll get the gist. It was basically, I was I was contracted for 2 movies. That was it. Move on. Something to that effect.
Okay.
As if she was like irritated that people keep asking her about the Scream franchise.
Sure.
And I wonder if that is like going back to WWE, if is she working the fans?
Yeah.
And you know, like it would be fucking really cool if she was. That would
Yes,
be
I
really awesome.
agree. I would
Yeah.
love to be worked right now. I would
Yeah.
love for this whole thing to be a sham and they both show up and they both fucking just like unleash
Yeah.
hell. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the movie world, especially with the Melissa Barrera stuff and the damage I think she probably took from the just the reports and the public scrutiny of her commentary on some of the political stuff that was going on at the time. I don't see that being a thing for
Hmm.
either her or Jenna Ortega. I hope I'm wrong, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it will imitate WWE the same way that I think that we both hope it would. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But I mean, either way, I'll be there immediately to see that movie because I couldn't possibly miss it.
I can't wait. Let's see. You said you had one more thing on your I think I know what it is, but I'll
You
let you say
do.
what it
You
is.
know what it is. I just want to call this out because it's fun for me and it's something I've been waiting for a very long time. Our favorite band, Van Halen, is reissuing Our favorite, well, my favorite album, and I think an album that you really care about as well. I know you've kind of oscillated between a couple of them, but 5150 turns 40 years old on March 24th of this year, and they have finally been re-releasing and remastering and issuing the Sammy Hagar catalog of the Van Halen uh, era, and it's coming out in March of this year. I think a couple days after the 24th, and they're doing a whole vinyl re-release, and it's CDs, and they're re-releasing Live Without a Net, which was something that we both love dearly. One of the greatest, I think, I'll go ahead and say it, the greatest, my favorite concert video of all time. It's so fantastic. It's so much fun to watch. They're remastering it or redoing it on Blu-ray in high definition, which this came out in like 86 or 87, something like it's super fucking old. And it was definitely shot on old cameras. So I don't know how good it's going to look, but they're putting it on a high definition format, and they're taking a lot of that audio and releasing that as well so that we can buy CDs and listen to that that audio from that concert live, which is super exciting to me. That I don't think that Rhino has treated the Van Halen re-releases in the Sammy Hagar era the way that I would have wanted them to. It's a little bit copy paste for me, but I'll take what I can get at this point, and I'm very excited that I get a high definition copy of that concert on Blu-ray. Like that's super fun, and all of it I think minus maybe a few tracks on audio as well. So super excited to hear about that. I've already pre-ordered it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. I almost didn't. They really fucked up how they did this because they released this vinyl box set a couple of years ago, and then they started to release special editions of each album after that, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me because they already released it on vinyl. So why would you re-release it again? Like it just they should have saved the box set for another time. Because I haven't bought anything else that's come out. I haven't. They've re-released Balance. They've re-released For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Love both of those albums, but I haven't bought them because content-wise, there's not much more on there to warrant spending a higher price. 5150 is different for me. It's my favorite album, so I'm gonna get the biggest, craziest, awesomest, most expensive version of it, and I'm excited about that. I think that's pretty fun.
So did you what did you buy? Did you buy vinyl? Did you buy Blu-ray? Like what are you getting
So
of that offering?
I bought the version that will be, it's a deluxe package that has the vinyl. So it has the original album remastered from 2023, I think it was. Um, where so the remastered version will be on a single vinyl. There will be, I think, another vinyl of extra content, which is it's kind of a misnomer. They're like radio edits of the songs that are on the album, and a few extended cuts, but nothing like nothing that none of us have ever heard before. And then that comes with a Blu-ray, and it comes with an additional CD of the Live Without a Net show on audio. So, I mean,
Okay.
that's cool, but ultimately, I'm getting it primarily for having the Blu-ray, um, and because I'm a vinyl collector now. I don't buy CDs. I haven't bought a CD and shit. I don't. I can't honestly remember the last time I bought a CD. Um, they will eventually take the Live Without a Net audio that they're putting on the set, and they will release it in a vinyl format. So the Live Without a Net audio recording is not going on vinyl as part of this set. It's going in sort of a hybrid set of the original albums on vinyl. Everything else is on CD format. And that's cool, but that doesn't ultimately interest me. I want everything on vinyl because it's more fun to have that in a format. So they have already announced for Record Store Day, which happens in April and Black Friday every year, Van Halen, which historically they have been releasing things on Record Store Day, is going to put that all the Live Without a Net audio on a piece of vinyl. and it'll be a separate thing that you have to
Oh,
buy.
this year.
This year, yeah, it'll be in
Oh,
April
cool.
this year.
Okay. That's
Usually
coming up. That's soon.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's cool. But I'm gonna get the set anyways, just because again, it's my favorite album out of the entire catalog. And even though it doesn't have it doesn't it's not chocked full of extras in the way that I think the band deserves. It's the best of what we have right now. So I'll take it.
All right. Record Store Day is not the same day as WrestleMania, is it? It is. Holy shit, it is.
Are you serious?
It's the same day, April 18th. I just looked. Yeah.
Oh, motherfucker. Well, maybe I'm sure there's a record
Come
store.
to Cleveland. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm planning on coming to Cleveland. That's my plan. So
there you go.
Unless you tell me differently, I will be there.
I am not telling you different. Absolutely.
Maybe we could do a record store day in the beginning, or
hell yeah.
At the early day. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I could probably find someone else to pick it up, but yeah. So that was my other update that I wanted to mention as we're going very long in the tooth on this podcast.
That's well, hey, yeah, God, we've been almost 2 hours at this point. Yeah. That's pretty fucking awesome, though. Plus, you could re-release that like first 20 minutes where we're talking about what we're talking about. Oh, Amazon photos, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, well, hey, it had been a while since we got together, so it makes sense that we went long. We had a lot of shit to talk about. We're the fucking national champions, which just warms my heart. It's amazing. Amazing. And when you kind of layer that on top of the fact that it's WrestleMania season, it's like all the good things when it comes to the 406 podcast. So
yes,
if there's any of the podcasts to go long, this was the one to do it, right? So
I agree.
All right. That being said, that's Mr. Pip. I'm Chewie, and this has been the 411 from 406. Aloha, bitches.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.